I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Men's Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. Started with 18 teams on Thursday evening. The last two playoff teams determined last night. We're down to quarterfinal action here this morning. My name is Shawn, Joyce, joined this morning by Schmel, and we've got the quarterfinal between A-event qualifier Reid Carruthers and one of those teams that came through the C-event last night, Sixten Totzek. Already underway here in the first end. The Carruthers team, by virtue of being A-event qualifier, does have last rock here in the first end of play. Throwing the Reds to lead second stone here. These teams getting underway quickly this morning. It's like they got someplace to go.
Well, if things go according to plan for them, Shawn, they're going to have a long day of curling in front of them.
Yeah. I think a couple of teams had to play 3 games yesterday. And of course, you know when you come to these events, every team wants to play 3 games on championship day because that means you're in the final. Looking for the roll inside here. He gets the hit right on the nose. By the Redstone at the back. Carruthers sits 2. I actually had the chance to call the C-event qualifier that Totzek played in yesterday, and we happened to notice that the roster they were using isn't in the same order as their listed play. Now, we're not 100% sure that they don't have a sub-play. This is Jan Lucia Haag. He is listed as the lead, playing second. Magnus Suter is listed as the second. His jersey is playing lead, but I got to tell you, that guy doesn't look like him, so that it's possible they've got a sub in at lead, and Haag has moved up. Joshua Suter is the third. Oh, nice shot there, just by the guard. Gets a little corner underneath. Sixten Totzek the skip. Carruthers still sitting shot, biting the back of the 8-foot.
It looks like he's content to open things up here and not really let things get too much out of hand here in the early going.
I think he was considering both. They're gonna opt for the. I wouldn't have been surprised to see him play that. But, they're gonna opt for the come around. He doesn't like those yellow rocks, but you hate to have the opposition controlling the front of the house.
Yeah, for sure.
Derek Samagalski in the Hacks. He is the second. On the right, as we view, it's Connor Negavan, the lead. Catlin Schneider, new to the team this year, playing third. And Reid Carruthers in the house, the skip. This is going to be tight to the guard. Doesn't get by.
Yeah, we've been seeing that all weekend, Shawn.
Yeah, and just looking at where it ended up, I think it was a case of they were scared to sweep it because if that gets by, it might be behind the tee line. So with last rock, they felt they were better off to chip the guard. Might have liked to chip it a little harder. They actually just buried that top 12. I'm watching too many screens here. I missed the call. Are they looking for the double, Dave, or the hit and roll?
It does appear to be the hit and roll. Just trying to control that area in front of the tee line. And just as I say that, they go throw the double.
Well, it's one of those things. There's nothing wrong with either call, but you might be tempted to go for the double just because you don't have last rock here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And by contrast, Reid Carruthers does have last rock. He's more inclined to ignore, as he's doing again, ignoring 3 yellow stones at the front. But he's got shot rock at the back and a chance to bury. See if he can't get a deuce here in the opening end of play.
Now, watching this, you said you had the call last night for the Totzek team. Did they tend to have lots of rocks in play, keep a busy house, or play a little cleaner?
There were a lot of rocks in play last night, but you and I were both. I don't think we called the game together last week. But we were both watching the Saville shootout last week, calling some games. We called a few this week. One of the things that you'll see, especially nowadays in the men's play, with how lively most of the rocks are, the conditions that they play in, you'll see a lot of these teams play fairly aggressively early in the end because they all are so good at the run back, so good at the angles, so they know they can move a lot of granite late in the end if they need to. And it makes for some interesting ends. It's a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to analyze, what angles are they playing. Not every team's going to play the same shots because there's choices. It makes it interesting. I come from I'm an older player. I started before the free guard zone, and a lot of times back in those days, there was really only one shot to call. Well, they cleaned up some granite with that one.
Yeah, just like that. 1, 2, 3 of them are gone.
Nice of them, though. It's like I queued them up to. One little biter on the outside. No, the biter's gone too. They clipped it as well. Just 2 left in play.
And just like that, we might be on our way to a blank.
Might be. Schneider with the nose hit, so now Joshua Suter in the Hacks. He'll look to roll under. This is a case where it's ever so slightly different for the two teams as well. With Totzek, because it's his guard, he'll try to roll dead buried. Carruthers was looking for the roll behind, but that's one of those situations where you don't want to roll dead behind it, because then if they make the run back and stick it, it's buried. You want to roll half behind. And it's a subtle thing, but it's something that all these teams at this level are aware of. They're playing the same shot, but they're not looking for it quite exactly the same way. Boy, haven't seen that a whole lot this weekend. 2 under curls on hits.
Well, first roll of the day, the very nice clean scrape. Likely still running just a little bit tight on swing.
Throwing it what we call safe too. Just make sure you you don't overcurl. Certainly saw lots of them last night and all weekend. Really, it's tough ice on the brushers because there's been spots where you look at them, they want to go, or you'll also see times where it's way out there. We better switch. Well, you dare not switch too early here. All the movement is late and it is big. And if you switch early, you might overcurl. This is close.
Just hangs on to still be a biter.
Yeah, hit it again and it won't be in. So they're looking at playing the slash on the guard. Might be able to roll it into the rings that way.
Absolutely. Now this team is from the Fuessen Curling Club, and Fuessen's located in Bavaria. Actually had the opportunity to visit there over the summer for a large spiel that they had. And it's a nice club. It's also the headquarters of the German Curling Federation.
Okay.
So it's their national training center and such. It's a lovely town too.
Curling has come a long way in Germany in the last, just say 40 years. I mean, I can remember back to watching it when I was younger, and it was, Keith Wendorf, Roger Schmidt. Well, those are all Canadians. They were over there as military. I suspect it was their influence that helped. Now we've seen a lot of good players come over from Germany. So looking for the slash here. He wants to drive yellow onto red, try to spill it into the rings. Guess the miss here is you hit the first one a little thin, drive it across the face. You'd like to roll them both together to leave your guard in front of the stone in the rings, but tough to make the slash. Yeah, tough to make the slash and hold the shooter.
Ooh. And they might just pull it off. Almost. Very good effort.
They were thinking they could get the shooter into the rings, and they almost did. Actually, they needed to hit the first one just a little bit thinner. They would have stuffed the second one thicker. It wouldn't have rolled as far, and the shooter would have made the rings. I would have bet that wasn't there, but almost went.
They really worked hard to capitalize on the spin there.
Yeah.
So now Reid's just going to clean house here and try to get undercover again. See if he can't get a free miss out of his opponent.
Yeah, try to pull behind the guard. He wouldn't be heartbroken if he rolls well past it over towards the back of the 12-foot. Might get an opportunity for the blank here. He certainly doesn't want to hit on the nose and give Totzek the chance to roll behind the corner guard. Then he'd be forced.
Yeah, I don't think Totzek would risk throwing a freeze or anything this early on.
Well, if you dead buried, he might have to.
Yeah. Don't think we're going to worry about that.
Yeah, that was. I would argue that was the one thing he didn't want to do. He was given that same opportunity, especially after you showed him what this path's going to do.
Yep, now he's going to just throw here. Now, I would like to see this thrown with a lot less weight than they've been throwing at some of those other shots. Give the brushers a chance here.
Yeah, we did have a chance to peek at a little bit of the practice. Of course, the practice session a little bit different in the playoffs because Hammer's predetermined. So they'll throw a few more shots. During the preliminary round, when there's a draw to the button for last rock, so much of that practice is geared towards that draw to the button path. So there might have been some rocks out this wide. Might even have thrown some hits in practice. Generally, though, it's a little scary when you're throwing in the wings with a hit in the first end. You just don't know if it's a fresh pebble out there. Final stone, first end, Sixten Totzek without last rock, looking to hit roll behind cover and perhaps get the force here. And they're sweeping for curl. They'll get just about up to the nose, but again, that's 4 by my count takeouts this end that under-curled what they had intended. Certainly not what we were seeing yesterday. Gives Reid Carruthers the opportunity to hit and roll out for the blank. You see a lot of these top teams at this level already started worrying about last rock and the even ends at the start of the game. So this is right according to plan for Reid Carruthers. If he can blank this end, he's already got that last rock into the even ends. Makes the hit, does roll the shooter out of play. No score after one end of play. Sixten Totzek, Reid Carruthers, quarterfinal action here from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, we got it.
Come on up.
Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Second end underway here from Beaumont. First stone in this looks more familiar to what I was seeing yesterday. Attempt at the center guard overbuilds the center line a little bit. It has been a struggle with the late finish to hold the center line, and it means that the no-tick zone doesn't come into play quite as much here. Which is, almost unfortunate because it's tricky to come by those guards. I've seen a couple of violations trying to come by them, and they actually crashed the guard on the way by.
Yeah, you certainly need to have those guards to get into business here, and see Totzek's going to come right on into the house now with the first from either Magnus or Jan.
I'm looking at the picture. It's not Jan. Jan's playing second for sure.
Okay, yeah, Jan's playing second. All right.
But I'm looking at the facial hair and the fact that it doesn't match the picture. And now you've got Magnus Suter's jersey playing lead. And I'm thinking this could be a sub playing lead.
If anybody knows for sure, feel free to chime in on the
Yeah,
smell.
that'd be great. You see that all the time. A lot of these top competitive teams, it's not like they carry a spare jersey around. So when you do get a substitute player, they have to wear the jersey of whoever they're replacing.
That one comes just a little bit long. So Carruthers is going to look to utilize his own corner guard here.
Some things haven't changed in the free guard zone. The team with Last Rock would like to get the play away from the center. The team with that's throwing first wants to play the whole end in the center, try to cut down the house. It's just a big game of cat and mouse, and those things haven't changed.
Yeah, the biggest change is now with the no-tick. You just end up with more rocks in play early, like we were discussing earlier. And yes, they can get rid of them, but at least we have something to work with.
Yeah, you'll see fewer come-arounds on the center guard now for the team with Last Rock. It's one of those things that I've done it myself as a skip. It used to be that they throw up that center guard and you play to come around, but you play tight ice. And if you crash the guard and split to two corners, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. Some teams play the split on purpose. Well, now you can't do that. If it's on the center line, you can't do that. You can't tight ice a shot. So rather than take the risk, because the penalty is rather harsh, the stone goes back, your rock is kicked to the corner. It's like a complete miss. Rather than take the risk, they'll play to the corner. And it means we get a few more rocks in play. Early in the end anyway. And then the runbacks and the angles become so interesting.
And the teams have really gotten so good at this.
Yeah, when they're playing a runback anymore, they're it's a generational thing and the time we played in. But if we were playing a runback, something like this, maybe yellow onto yellow, we'd be happy just to make contact with the stone on the 8-foot. But nowadays, if it's their own rock they're running back, they're not happy unless they stick it behind the guard.
Yeah.
And a fair percentage of the time, they do.
That's just the difference between your high-level competitive curlers and your decent club curlers. They say that a quote-unquote good club curler makes maybe 60%. As we see this run back coming, it's going to go and just come over the top there. But obviously 65% doesn't cut it at this level.
Yep.
We make a shot like that in league, we're happy to hang our hat on for a couple weeks. So now with that half shot there, Totzek is going to come and try to throw another guard, get in front of it, take the lead in this end.
At the very least, get the force, but this has got some curling to do yet.
Oh, but here it comes. Here comes that late finish. Not too bad.
Left a little bit of angle. It just takes a little angle for these teams to be able to run a stone over the top, and it's risk-free now, because if you hit it a little too thin, you miss the back one, well, now your shooter's going to roll away. Derek throws the big weight so well, looking to get at least two of them moving. Actually, they're lined up where he might get all three of them. Just gets the two, that's important. Gets the shooter off the center line.
And now we're going to see coming around that corner there to the 4-foot.
Suitor with the attempt on the draw. Sixten Totzek going out to help. All three brushers working on it. It's going to be a little bit light. Over curls onto the guard.
Well, that was a solid 16 seconds there. What times have you been seeing consistently this weekend?
I haven't been running a watch myself, I have to admit. It's too early in the season. My watch is still in the bag somewhere. Well, this is a big chance for Carruthers to swing things in this end. They got the double on the last shot by Samagalski and rolled off center. If Captain Schneider can make the come around here, you're no longer looking at a force, you're looking at a deuce.
Looks like they gave this plenty of room. Or did they?
Well, it might have been plenty, but it wasn't enough. This might be a little light as well. And maybe the worst thing for the Carruthers team is they tap that yellow back a lot closer to the center line. We're back to a situation where if Joshua Suter can bury this top corner of the button, they're not just thinking force anymore, they might be thinking steal. To have nice line, they'll start making a really big move about there, and both brushers on it as well for weight. Oh, just not able to get by.
So close to being quite good.
Could have used a little more weight. I think if he's got the weight to get to the 4-foot, he's probably by.
So now, do you like the the cleanup operation here, or do you stay aggressive and try to come in?
I think you're hitting something. It's awful scary when you got last rock. One turn is already completely closed off. You try coming around the center guard here, don't make it, or leave the short run back and not have a shot for your last one. Nose hit could make the double on the yellows. Your redstone wouldn't be in the rings, but it's in a powerful position.
I guess the danger is there. Then you have possibly a tap back on the one outside the house coming in return from your opponent.
Yeah, that's not a high percentage shot. I think he'll come around.
And we are going to throw the come around, it looks like.
It is a little risky. Now, I will say traditionally, this again goes back years. If you're throwing last stone and you get to a point in the end where you're going to be aggressive and try to get your deuce. Third's last stone is when you used to like to do it. Well, this is third's last stone. 3 stones to 2, a chance to set up your deuce. As we said though last hit, I don't think you ever want to dead bury behind this yellow because it's going to be a short run back. And if he sticks it behind cover, a hard time ever getting to it again.
This one has significantly more room. Also looks to have a good deal of pace.
This is a great camera angle. Watching from behind the thrower, it's great to watch how much curler is late on this ice. You look at where that stone was at the hog line, and it's dead buried on a rock in the 12-foot.
And here we go. We're just behind the tee line. So now Sixten Totzek is going to try to just weld one on there. This is certainly going to be easier said than done, given the difficulty that they've shown with controlling the line thus far. Room all the way in the edge of the 12-foot.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember where Reid had it, but that looks like a fair bit more ice now. The Carruthers team plays the slams. They play ice that curls 6 feet all the time, and they do know to be what we call a little positive on the release. So theirs will hold a little better as a rule. Totzek team was taking a lot of ice last night as well. You mentioned you played in the event in Fuessen. How was the curl? That event, like that would be more like what these guys are likely used to.
Well, we played on the club ice that's part of the curling club. It was significantly straighter, probably about 2.5 to 3 feet of curl. And when we were playing on the arena ice, they had the nearby arena converted over. That did have more swing, close to 4.5 feet. But the club ice that these folks will be practicing on all the time doesn't swing nearly this much.
And a little strong on that one. He slides to the back, but that's where you see a team that comes to ice like this. They're not positive with the release. They throw their normal release. It's a nice clean release, and that's fine, but that can be where some of the problem comes in, trying to control the curl. Reid Carruthers continues to sit one that stone at the back of the 4-foot. It's where do you put the next one?
Well, for me, I don't mind where they had the broom just then. Go top 4. You're inviting them. They're going to run back to their top yellow anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what choice you got there, though. You got to be in it. It would be lovely now if you could, exactly where Catlin just tapped the ice. If you could get right to the face of your own stone and ever so slightly to the inside of it, then the 2 reds line up onto the yellow at the back.
That would be a bingo.
And it certainly will curl enough to do that. You know, you saw Catlin's stone wasn't even close to that stone at the top 12-foot. One where, Reid really can't just throw it there. He's got to give this to the brushers, and then there's going to have to be good communication on the way down. I think that's where he'd like to get it, to the inside a little bit. Doesn't necessarily have to be right to the face. You're right. There's a short yellow run back. Line up the two reds to jam in the back. That run back's not as appealing.
Now right here, it's still on the edge of the 8-foot. Now watch it come on over.
Sweeping for the extra curl, not to get buried. They'll get buried well enough. They would have liked to have gotten to the inside of that red. Leaves enough separation that the run back's not a gimme.
Looks like they're actually considering throwing the freeze.
That was his first call. The run double is probably just there. It's hard to tell. He doesn't have a lot of air by the tight yellow guard. He's got to hit the yellow, biting the top 12-foot on the inside to drive it on the right angle to catch both reds.
Yeah, just a touch inside, so he has to hit, just kind of paper that guard.
Yeah.
So aggressive call from the young skip here.
Yeah, didn't even really consider the double, did he?
Nope, not at all.
I'm not positive it's there, but if you play the run back and at least catch the top one, you're not giving up any more than 2 here. The danger to this draw is if you rub that red stone at the top of the 8-foot, you're giving up 3. A little heavy on the last draw attempt, and he didn't get the line. He's got close to the same ice here. This is just a second shot. There's no way he can get shot rock off this, I don't think. Even with as hard as it curls, he's not getting around a stone at the top of the 8 and getting to the inside of that stone at the back button.
Big shot early here.
Both brushers down. This is definitely tighter line than Reid had. He's got to get by that stone at the top of the 8-foot. A little bit more weight than Reid. They got a chance. No, he's going to rub.
Just like that, Reid Carruthers is going to have a shot for 3 here.
Yeah. Knows it'll do it. Has to be a little careful, I think. If he's anything on the outside and dead jams it, I'm not sure he would be second shot. But if he gets to the nose, a little bit to the inside. This is usually the one where you're throwing the last rock and you make the perfect hit and roll behind cover.
This is where you want to throw whatever weight is you're the most comfortable with. What do you have the most control over?
This is where I wish we had a mic. Reid got to the hacks and saw something he was concerned enough about that he's walked all the way back down to the other end. And it might be that he was just concerned with that jam at the back. Just needs to stay full 8-foot for the 3rd point. He's got all kinds of room to roll across the house. The only thing that really gets him in trouble is to hit anything on the high side. If it jams on that yellow at the back, his shooter will roll, and I'm not sure who would be second shot.
Well, I see he's tightened up the ice significantly there.
Yeah.
Better hurry.
Got to get by his own again. Actually, might have been better off to rub his own. He'll make contact with the yellow. Does remove it from play. It'll be 2 points for Reid Carruthers, but Could have been 3, so maybe even a little bit of sigh of relief there for Sixten Totzek. He will have last rock when we come back for the 3rd.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Two to nothing, Reid Carruthers as we begin play here in the 3rd end. Championship Sunday here from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major. Curling Stadium, Beaumont. Quarterfinals this morning. Semis will be around in a few hours. The final later on this afternoon. We'll catch all the action here on the Curling Zone YouTube channel. You can find it on the Alberta Curling Series YouTube channel as well.
I know, I am excited for one. So taking a look at some of the other quarterfinal games we have going on. Van Amsterdam is playing against Trevor Bonneau. That game is still scoreless. Maeda has a 1-0 lead over Kalthoff. And Morizumi and Hood, we don't have a score update from yet.
Of course, we've got the Totzek team here from Germany. As you run through the scores, probably should note that a strong international flavor to a lot of these early events in the season. Some of these teams come across and they'll play in 3 or 4 events in a row just because our schedule here gives them that opportunity. And you've got the 2 Japanese team. Hood is actually out of New Zealand, and Totzek out of Germany. So 4 international teams here in the championship round. It's got to be fun for the fans actually in attendance in Beaumont. How often you get to rub elbows with these international type teams. It's an opportunity that doesn't come around that often. Looking to come around the corner guard here.
Yes, the Totzek team from the Fuessen Curling Club. It's a relatively small town in Bavaria. It was very quaint when I visited. Nice, very walkable downtown. Obviously very historic. A town of 16,000. It's just kind of nestled there in the mountains of Bavaria. Although my traveling companion corrected me and said, "Those aren't mountains. The Alps are mountains."
I'm in the same time zone here as the Beaumont Curling Club, so we're at 9:35 a.m. here. Germany must be, I guess, 9 hours ahead.
If they're still in summertime.
I could look it up, but it doesn't count unless you guess first.
I think it's 10 hours off the mountain right now. Let's see. It's 5:35 p.m.
Oh, only 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a good time zone for viewing this game. They might be up late if they're watching the final.
I think they can handle it.
Looking for the run here. 1, 2, makes contact with all three. Will kill the stone in the rings. He's like one tight red guard. Shooter stays up just slightly off center.
I see. Yeah, Reid trying to figure out whether he's going to draw to the center or underneath the wing.
Yeah, and usually when he gestures like that, I think he's looking for some input from the far end. Which shot do you guys like? And it's Derek Samagalski in the ring or in the hack, so he likes the run back. He's very good at these.
He's going to try to bring this sword of Damocles down on him.
Well, you know, you could make this double roll to the middle and really start clogging up the center again too. It goes back to what we were talking about. Without last rock, you'd like to force the play to the middle. This is the stone in the 12-foot. The only guards Totzek has left to work with are in that 4-foot area.
He brings so much heat on them, you know, just before he even realizes it, he's already slid down to the other end. Totzek's going to try to wrap one around here and lie two with the hammer.
I'm just trying to decide myself how far around I want to get this. You certainly don't want to be dead buried on the red. I don't think. You play the run back. And you don't want to be to the top of the button. He plays the double off the one on the side. So you're probably looking at just bite the top of the 4. And maybe split the 2 guards would be perfect if you could.
Right, yeah. Just on the edge of the button.
I would have said edge of button is too deep. That's pretty good right there. It might have overcurled what they had in mind a little bit just because it's going to tempt Reid to play that run back. Looking at the double, but it's too flat, I think. Could roll towards it. Same thing. You saw Reid gesture at the 2 shots, the in off the yellow and the run back. That's just their way of, we don't have mics on the players, but when he's gesturing that obvious, he's looking for input from the other end. These are the 2 shots I'm looking at. What do you guys like?
I will say that when I ask that question as I'm skipping, probably my least favorite thing to hear is whatever you like, Skip.
Yeah. I knew where you were going with that. I've heard that too. Or they don't say anything. It's like, I'm asking you for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, if I clearly had an idea of what I want to do, the room would already be down.
and there are times when, you know, like there are 2 shots here. Defer to the player. Which one do you feel like you can make? Because they're both good. Which one can you make?
Make the run back there, no problem.
That was the problem with ending up dead behind the red, because not only did he make the run back, but the shooter stays to guard it. Carruthers sits 1 behind cover. You can play the run double, but then we're back to perhaps looking at a blank situation if you make it. Might be able to double the reds and roll for a corner guard.
Or do you just start over again and play a little deeper and tighter, because you still have both draw passes available.
Well, you could certainly. play that same wide in-turn draw. You tuck half around the stone at the top of the 8-foot. Now, if he's going to run it back, it's a double run. There would still be that yellow on the corner he could come off of, though. So they're going to play the double.
Very quiet.
Yeah, surprisingly quiet. Trying to double your opposition stones. Makes contact with the rock in the rings, but not enough to get it out of play. And I think it stays for shot at the back of the 12-foot.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
That one, fairly obvious to us, but even when it's not, I really love it when they tap the rocks for us. they're closer than we are, so, you know, tell us who's shot, for crying out loud. Looking at the come around on the longer guard, I don't think, see the gesture from Reid, I don't think he's talking about coming at it from the out-turn side. I think what he's worried about is if we dead bury it, can they play a quiet way through that port on the out-turn and then roll behind all those rocks? So I don't, you want to be careful not to overbury this. If anything, even maybe just half behind cover on the broom side.
I definitely agree with you there.
You want to make sure he's got to come at it from the wide side, I think, right? This is tough on ice like this. You're dead buried. He can come through the port, chip it, even if he doesn't get it out, but then he rolls behind that wall of rocks on the right.
Almost feel like it's easier to get there. Could you ever just do it by crossing over the center?
Could.
I feel like the club curlers in general, not so much at the competitive levels, but certainly club curlers don't necessarily think about throwing across the center to get to a draw. I always think everything is to come from the wings and off the wall and come back in.
Well, there's always that. I mean, I've been guilty of it too. There's always the feeling that you're just never sure how a rock's going to react when it goes across the center line. Now, neither the rock nor the ice actually know that line's there, but somehow it gets into our head that they don't curl the same coming across center. And every ice maker out there will tell you that's nonsense.
Right, and it's absolutely, and it's early enough in the game you don't have to worry about slide pass or maybe even handprints or anything like that. That's not there. Here they will throw that little quiet weight shot just coming across the center.
This
and
is
I
how
got
to
to
make
work
the
on
roll
over.
behind.
It, and can you sweep it over? Oh, you get just a little fraction under. That's a pretty good rock.
Yeah, it's the same port going the other way, but it's staggered the other direction now. This is a much tougher shot.
Oh, you betcha.
Reid's going to have to throw some weight to make that port. And I don't know if he can shoot it. It is back of the 4-foot. Saw Catlin indicate there's probably room we could just come down, sit in front of it. And he's right. It's not going to look great from the hack because it's well overburied, but
oh, the shot's there all day.
It's there. Now, here's the other side of it. Carruthers qualified through the A, and they had the bye in the first round. They've actually only played 2 games.
I know when I was doing my prep for this game, I saw that. Wow, that must be nice. But then again, you haven't gotten enough time on the ice yet.
Well, that's the thing. Like a team that's played 5 games is a lot more apt to trust that curl. We know it's going to curl. We know it's going to curl. You just trusted it. It's been pounded into your head so many times in 5 games, whereas having only played 2, and I actually called one of their games, it only lasted 4 ends. They haven't seen as many rocks come down. If you were sitting in the hacks looking at the out-turn draw to get there, visually from the hacks, it doesn't look good.
Oh, it looks terrible.
And they haven't had enough time to just trust it yet. Big pop on the release on that one. Sweeping for the curl, but it's going to rub the long one. And one of the stones in the rings. You know, that was good awareness from Catlin Schneider. He saw that coming. He was into position long before that stone made contact and able to get it through the back, and that's huge because you could still have given up 3 if you leave that in the rings anywhere, even if it's just hanging on at the back 12 foot, because that second shot stone, the red stone, is wide open now. 3's still not out of the question.
So you see them going over the available options, suggesting maybe drawing down in front of the Carruthers rock. Of course, coming underneath their corner guard would be probably the most conventional play.
If you're thinking 3, you got to try to Christmas tree it. The problem with that is, how do you get there? Like, if you're by the wide corner with the big late swing that we've got on this ice, are you positive you're getting by the guard and that's tight to the rings? I mean, it might be there.
Oh, wow.
I've seen this before this weekend. When you're trying to come by a guard that's already off center line and come by it on the wide side. The only thing I haven't seen yet, and I'm a little surprised I haven't seen it, they're still giving ice at the T line.
Haven't moved up yet, yeah.
Having to walk up the boards so that they can take a little more ice still. They might be thinking that they can just over-curl the guard a little bit after they get by, because the ideal spot, if you're going to come around the middle, the ideal spot is to stick it out just a little bit on the center line side so your shooter protects a little bit of that back stone. If you're in the top 8 foot, hard for Reid to make a play on it because he could jam it on that red at the back and he's giving up 3. If you just dead bury this, he's still picking the back one out when you're getting his 2. If all you're playing for is 2, you could have come around the corner like you mentioned.
I like the fact that they're trying to be aggressive here.
Yeah.
This appears to have the weight. Take it in just a touch.
Yeah, this is be one where they can afford to come tight by that guard. Line looks good. Might be a little deeper than what they had in mind. And probably didn't finish quite as hard as they were expecting. Certainly not as hard when he was that tight by the guard. I thought he'd have a good chance to come out the other side. Instead buried.
I don't think you can make them both go.
Well, I don't think Reid's going to be playing the run.
Yeah.
When there's a danger of jamming red rock at the back and
you
jam, it could be 3 or 4, pardon me. He'll just pick out the one that he can see now.
Conceded.
Still going to make for an interesting choice for Totzek for his final stone. The in-turn draw to the button's probably not there. The out-turn he'd have to throw just as wide again. Or you could draw to the corner, which is kind of an unnatural way to throw when you're trying to score the extra point. Okay, before he puts the broom down, what do you like?
I think he throws to the corner.
To the corner. He's got more rings certainly that way because he's where his first stone ended up. He could get right to the face of his own. I guess he'd be okay, but do you really want to throw that wide twice in a row?
Well, yeah, it looks like he is just going to draw across the center. This certainly has to feel more comfortable than throwing it into parking lot C.
Yeah. This is where it helps if they've played 5 games already. It's the tough part of this one. I think actually, I stand corrected. They might have
6. They paid 6.
Yeah, they played 6 because they lost A and B qualifiers. Yeah. If you hadn't played that many, it's just going to look like you have to wait forever for it to come off that yellow guard before you can sweep. Well, they should be trusting that, oh yeah, there's no danger. It's coming off that guard. It'll curl. Fisher's just cleaning early. Needs a piece of the 8-foot. Still just cleaning. Sixten Totzek with his final stone. Puts it right on the tee line. He will pick up his 2 points, and after 3 ends of play, we're all tied up. It's 2 apiece. Reid Carruthers will have last rock in the 4th.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Three ends complete in this quarterfinal of the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major. Reid Carruthers, Sixten Totzek, right back to where they were when we started, tied up. It is Carruthers with last rock. We begin play in the 4th.
Saw a wry smile from the German team there as yet another guard can't land on the center line. Almost saying, what do we got to do?
This time the attempted corner guard slides into the rings. So an opportunity to make the hit. Every time this gentleman comes to throw, I check the chat and see if anybody's told us who he is yet. Because I just don't think that's Magnus Suter. He's wearing Magnus Suter's jersey, but Suter's usually listed as the second. The picture doesn't match, and I'm betting this is a sub. And now he definitely wants us to know what his name is, because that's a great shot. And you want to get that name right. Makes the hit, rolls all the way across to the top of the 4-foot, half behind cover. Connor Negavan going to look to come down, try to sit right on the face of it. Got some curling to do too. He'd like to get to the nose, or maybe just a slight bit to the inside. And he does.
Makes it all the way there, yeah.
They thought about coming right down on the face. They opted for the guard. I think I'd like to this better if you come right down to the face. We talked about it a bit during the break. If you see Derek Samagalski play that run back, and this is a spot where you got 4 rocks in play and suddenly could have none. This is where blanks come from in the men's play. It's not because they start out with open ends. It's because you leave one wrong angle and somebody makes a good run. He's still going to probably try it. Well, it's not a samurai sword signal with the broomies.
Yeah,
Slash the first guard across the top of the second and have it come back towards the 2 in the rings.
yeah, I thought he was calling for Zorro to show up. All right, Samagalski bringing the heat here. One, 2. That opens things up.
We could just make a recording. It just needs to say Samagalski with the run back attempt, and then we can go for coffee during the second stones, because that's just about all he's thrown so far today.
I don't even know if he can find draw in the dictionary right now.
Throws them so well. He's made a couple. Close on all of them. Key there was to get rid of both guards. It's tough now with 1 stone and the amount of swing that you get here to get a perfect guard. If you're too high, there's room for them to come around it. You get too tight, the run back becomes a little easier, and it's also very easy to end up just slightly offline. Both rushers were down early. Now they're looking for curl. It's just about as good as he could have done it.
Contemplating the draw here. See what the angle looks like.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at coming around, it'll be the draw tap. He'll need to move that Yellowstone a little bit. Doesn't have to kill it.
Sure.
And that little gesture with his hands, it's like, if we miss it, let's crash the guard. So they're going to play it. There's the call, just trying to tap the yellow back far enough to sit 2. And the miss here, we've already discussed it. If we're going to miss, we got to crash the guard. Crash the guard, you at least make him try to replace the guard. Once they're by the guard, they might actually switch. No, this is curling too hard. He's got a great shot. Move far enough to sit 2. Just, I think.
That turned out really nice, and most importantly, it really kept those angles lined up nice and straight, because now any of the run back attempt probably ends up on that yellow in the back, don't you think?
Yeah, it's going to touch it. Not sure what else you could do here, though. He's got those reds in a pretty good spot. It is your own stone you're running back. Going to be a little thin on the first one, though. Drives it by everything. The shooter will roll out of play. Reid Carruthers asking Captain Schneider now to replace the guard. Now it'll be a red guard that Totzek will have to try to run back. curl a little bit. Looks kind of like they're caught here. They want it to curl, but they also need it to stop. This is going to get a little tight to the rings. It's up a pretty good line. Probably a little tighter than they would have liked. Just because it makes the run back a little shorter. Just a sliver off on the center line side. Might be able to get all three of them. I still think it probably clips that yellow at the back.
See what we can do here.
This is close. Catches one, catches two, catches three. Does touch the yellow at the back, but he might have left it. Still in play for sure. And I think Reid just said it's on. I guess we give him 4 for that shot. 4 out of 4 if you're scoring.
That's pretty good.
Once upon a time, there used to be bonus points. That would have been a bonus shot, I think. Alan Schneider still has the one tight guard. He can try to come around here. Just to bury it, but again, to the back 4 foot. It's not where you really wanted that.
Definitely inviting the draw down to it.
You don't even have to be right to the face. It's your own guard here. If you could just split the T line right in front of that red, it forces Reid Carruthers to play a more difficult shot. He's going to have to move it. Tried to use the tip of a pen to count the spots here. If you freeze this, there's room for Reid to freeze on top of it and still be shot rock, and I can't quite tell for sure if there'd be room to freeze on it one more time.
I think there probably would be. But we have to make this one first.
Yeah, and both brushers were on this right out of his hand. Both brushers down is usually an indication you got to go for weight. Now they've switched because they needed to get it to curl as well. That's a pretty good shot. Did leave a sliver of it, but Reid has to move it to get shot rock. Hard to get it by the red. He's looking at the run back. Pick it clean. Coach tries to put it back. Come across the top on this at all. The Yellowstone that was just delivered is probably jamming on the stone at the back of the 4 foot. I don't think it'll leave the rings. The red might take out the one that's biting at the back. This will be interesting to see how these line up. As much as anything with this shot, Carruthers hoping to give himself a little bit more room with his last one.
Oh, my good friend Dusty. You flatter me, my friend.
Slight over curl from Reid, just picks the guard out. So for Totzek now, he'll need to replace the guard. If anything, he needs to protect that side. The corner of the red is sticking out. If you are more on the center line side, that'll give Reid enough room to come around from the in-turn and chip that yelp past the red.
Would there ever be a downside to just coming down to it again?
If you cross the face at all, that's the downside, because the triple attempt, the red at the back of the forfeit goes onto that yellow at the back. The 2 yellows fly and the shooter stays there. As long as you stay on the high side, you're okay.
Key line. Back floor.
Pictures were just firm cleaning early. Now they're going a little harder. Got to carry this to get it to curl far enough. That's pretty good right there. He's left pretty much the same piece, and for Reid to hit it from the side that he can see it, he's putting it onto the red more than likely.
But as we said earlier, we do know that curl is there, and if you just trust it, I think you're trying to come at it from the in-turn side, yeah.
That's tough, and with moving it as far as you've got to move it, I don't think you're holding the shooter to play that anyway. I'm thinking he's playing the heavy draw from the out-turn and just try to tap it onto the red stone. You're going to have to roll just a little bit. So you don't want to get right to the face. If you're right to the face on the yellow, where you jam it, the yellow's still going to be shot at the back. He's going to have to roll his shooter into the corner of the forfeit on the other side, I think.
I think Catlin at least just suggested it.
Yeah. It's not, neither shot's easy. And I think they're both just for one. He's thinking of trying to blast it. Pick it across. Pick it clean, perhaps, or if you catch the red, he's hoping it drags onto the one at the back. You could get even blank out of this. This is a blast with that broom. Hit that yellow as thin as you can. If you pick it clean by the red, you pick up a single. This is tough. There's not a lot of room between those 2 stones. You've got to hit this yellow very thin.
It seems precarious.
Sweeping for curl already. I think he's got a piece. Just touches the red on the way by, but leaves it there. Great shot by Reid Carruthers to pick up his single point here in the 4th end of play. He'll take a 3-2 lead. It'll be Sixten Totzek with last rock when we come back for the 5th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Four ends complete in this men's quarterfinal. Reid Carruthers with a 3-2 lead.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Time.
Three to two as we begin play here in the fifth end. Reid Carruthers with the lead, Sixten Totzek with the last rock. Center guard to start the end, the come around right behind it now. Connor Negevin going to do his best Derek Samagalski impression and try to play the run back. And while we were in the break, and Dave, I don't think you got the answer yet, but you were on the phone trying to get an answer to find out who this fourth player is for the Totzek team.
Yeah,
you got sources.
My contact confirmed the lineup. You know, he came back with that right away, but I told him it doesn't look like that Magnus is throwing right now, so he's going to see if he can hop online. Probably might be doing something right now. It's still the middle of the afternoon there. He might even be driving someplace. So.
And we now think it's Jan Luca is the pronunciation for the.
He did confirm that. Yeah,
the jersey was playing second anyway.
Yeah, he did write Jan Luca in his message to me. So I'm gonna trust my friend Leon on that.
Magnus Suter jersey comes in with the draw, rubs off the edge of his own stone, 6-2, but there is a double available.
This is just where we hit the recording. Samagalski on the double.
Yeah.
That needed to curl up just a touch, though.
Yeah, Derek probably wasn't happy with that one. He might have called down before he threw it. Could you put a guard in front of it? Because if it's a run back, I can make that.
He has certainly been called on to throw nothing. A lot of his, yeah, big chance for Totzek here.
And he will. That's just part of the game when they play so many draws and try to set up the angles. That's a big part of it. Not just for the Carruthers team. That's you're playing second in today's game. You're playing runs and angles, and it's a lot of very interesting shots. Chance for Totzek to split the rings a little here, but needs to roll to the outside.
That's about maximum distance right there.
Yeah. Thought about the run back. They're going to try the nose hit, though. This is a case where you nose hit it. Exchange hits a couple of times, and it might be high enough to play the double off the corner.
Works it over just a little bit, but not too much. Now, as you play this hit back again, you're going to put a rock of elevation in there. We might put that angle in there for the double.
Well, if you nose hit it, that's the problem with rolling back to the middle like that is you give Totzek room to roll back to the corner. that'll be the attempt anyway. You hit that right on the nose, you can't really roll to the corner any further without rolling out. Yeah, Loka had a nice roll on his first one. Doesn't need to roll quite as far this time, but still looking to roll just a bit to the outside. Right back to where the broom was, basically. Well, that's not a good sign. They've got the offside sweeper right away. Just barely makes contact with it.
And rolls it dead buried under everything.
And shot rock at the back of the forefoot. That's just enough to confuse your opposition. What do you do now if you're Reid Carruthers?
Well, the corner freeze, that's a good option there because that keys it up for later. So you put some pressure on there.
Just have to be careful to stay on the corner of the yellow now. And that's a shot that on this ice, it would be so easy to over curl this. You get to the face of the yellow, you just line it up to that red. I will say, I can't recall seeing Captain Schneider over curl on Wednesday. He's got one of the more positive releases, so they should be able to hold his line a little better. Still a long ways out there. Might be thinking about coming around the yellow now. This is a little strong as well. Come by everything so you don't leave the double.
Not exactly what you drew up there.
No. But I think at the end they kind of had to. I mean, if that stops 2 feet earlier, it leaves a double on the Reds. It's not really a factor where it is, but at least you're not giving him a way to get shot rock out easily. He's going to have to play the run. It's possible, I think, to hit this right to get all 3 Reds to go.
I certainly think so. Let's see what Suter has.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of it for that. Just going to peel the guard.
With your stones behind the tee line for curlers, it's not really the best offensive situation for you.
Well, and we're down to that situation I've talked about a couple of times already. After this stone, Totzek is on third's last stone. If he's going to make an aggressive play, that would be the time to do it. So you throw one more guard here. He comes around on top of those 2 Reds, try to get his deuce, maybe even 3. That this is not an easy pick. You probably lose the shooter and then it's back to a blank, so they're going to play the guard. I like the guard call just because it gives us a chance to see if Totzek is going to play the draw. Pretty good. Still looking at the run.
Yeah, it's really a question, Shawn, as to whether you want to put your chips in at this point, or do you want to try to kick the can down to the next end?
Yeah, it's when you get late enough at the end, it's getting tough to blank. I mean, you need to move 3 stones here if you're going to get a chance to blank.
I think we're getting our answer here.
This is where he needed to hit it the last time.
Still only got 2.
Well, and
not ones he wanted.
No, he picked his own out of the top of the forefoot, so now Reid Carruthers can just pile another one into the rings. I don't know if you want to be all the way into the forefoot like that. I think if you put it where they tap the ice, he's going to try to come around to those two at the back. I'd like maybe just nibble the forefoot at the top and leave it a quarter open.
Regardless of this shot, Totzek's going to have to get out his Etch-a-Sketch and figure something out.
Yeah. Well, his choices are going to be try to draw and see if you can set up two, or play the run back and try to make sure you've got room to throw for one with your last one. If you don't make the run back, at least to peel the guard out of the way.
All really has to do the depth of this shot.
When they were tapping the ice, it looked like they were trying to line them up. That's more like where I had talked about, maybe just a shade deeper that I mentioned. But it takes away any chance for Totzek to try to play the draw to the back too. So I think it takes away his chance to play it, make an offensive call here. He's going to have to play the run back. Halfway down the ice, looking back at it, does he think he sees something else?
Yeah, I mean, taking a look there at one on the top of the forefoot, and I think he took a look at it and said he might not be even playing the run back. He might just be trying to flash ball.
Thinks he could see enough of it to catch the Reds at the back of the forefoot.
I think if you hit everything you can see, you're going to make all the Reds go. From that angle.
Maybe. Who's the shooter? Reid would come around again. He'll still have a shot for one, but might be an easier shot than he's got right now. He missed the run back. He don't have much to shoot at all.
Shot here.
Yeah, I think he has to make sure he's by the front one. You just straight peel off the guard. I'm not sure that helps you anymore. And they're on the brush right away. He might have been a hair inside, but he's got the big weight.
Pretty close.
Catches two of them. It's better.
That's significantly better. That definitely changes the landscape and it takes catastrophe out of the equation.
Reid's going to have to try to bury a significant piece of this stone. Even if he buries the same amount, you're going to have the button. Which maybe doesn't sound like a lot, but at this level, these guys expect to be able to hit that when they need it. Maybe the bigger thing is he's got an unobstructed path to the button on the intern side. Doesn't have to negotiate any kind of guards or anything like that. So he'll be fairly comfortable with that attempt. Reid Carruthers, nice draw on his first one. Looking to put this in pretty close to the same place. Maybe a little stronger, so they made sure it curled far enough to bury. He does sit two, back forefoot.
I don't think there's any good way to get a blank out of this, so you just have to take your one, take your medicine and move on.
final stone here, fifth end. Sixten Totzek facing two, trailing by one already. Needs button. And both brushes down right away.
Gotta go, boys.
Looks like they eased up a little bit at the hog line, so they must feel the weight's close. Don't know if he's got backing yet. He's curling. Well, he has had that draw weight really well. He's put it on the tee line a few times. Picks up his single point here in the fifth. We're all tied up again. Reid Carruthers with last rock in the sixth.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Again, we're doing every sheet right now, so.
Three all in this men's quarterfinal. Shawn, Joyce, Dave Schmel with you live. Curling Stadium Beaumont, Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major. You want to stay with us all day today. We've got quarterfinals this morning. About an hour and a half away from the scheduled start of the semifinals this afternoon. We'll hope those are on time. We had a few extra ends yesterday, and with a tightly stacked draw, you can get behind a little bit. Just stay with us. We'll catch all of the action here.
I do believe, partner, we're together again for the final.
Yes, I see that. I went back and forth today. I've got one game with Jim this afternoon as well. I was the late guy signing up, and I hated to leave anybody alone for 3 draws in a row, so I went back and forth. These are always a little bit easier to do when you've got a partner. There's so many angles. And one of the things, I've done broadcasting for a lot of years now. I've done it in provincials here in Saskatchewan for 12 years, and it's always fun to discuss, especially with as many rocks as they're putting in play, all the angles and all the possibilities. It's beyond just 1 and 2 shots. Sometimes they've got 3 or 4 that they could look at by the end of the end. It's just really so interesting to watch. And every team may approach it differently. There's no necessarily right or wrong call. It's whatever shot you can make. Usually, as long as you make whatever shot you call, you're not going to get in too much trouble. So it's fun when you've got somebody else to chat with. It's no different than if you're watching at the club. You know, with your teammates, you finish your game, you're watching the next game afterwards, you're discussing, what would we play here? Can they see enough of that to make the double? It's so entertaining.
And the good news is we don't miss from here.
Not very often. It also doesn't hurt quite as much the next day either.
So Carruthers with the hammer here. They got the first one there in the top of the button. Center guard for Totzek, actually on the center line. That's a first in the day for that.
This is the 5th stone at the end, but the guard is their own stone. They can move their own. did look at that, gestured that they're considering it looks like the two shots they're considering is the running yellow on the red and maybe catch the red at the corner of the button. Or just try to come around the intern side, corner freeze that stone. They wouldn't be shot rock. They would shrink the house considerably. The problem with playing the run is if you're ever just slightly off center, you spill everything off the middle. That's kind of what Reid Carruthers wants you to do. I didn't mind the draw idea, but they're going to play the run.
No, I agree with you there, Shawn, because I feel like trying to generate offense for both teams is important here in the sixth end.
Yeah, well, and we're early enough in the end. It's critical that, like right now, there's nothing on the corners. You'd hate to roll these off the center. And now suddenly the end is exactly the way Reid Carruthers wants to play it. Right now you've got everything in the middle. And you look at where he's putting the broom. They're throwing some weight at this too. I thought even if they're playing the run, maybe they'll throw it quiet just to make sure they keep the shooter near center. This is kind of all or nothing. You either make the run or you're losing everything off the center line.
Two and three out of there.
Yeah, but all he's left is a corner guard and a stone in the back of the 8-foot. I would say Reid Carruthers not unhappy about that either. Nothing.
Right,
you gotta make the
absolutely.
run or you're losing everything off the center
Here
line.
he comes firing on out. And like you mentioned, he's going to leave that guard right in a spot that Carruthers wants to use it.
Just needed to curl up a hair more. If he hits it right on the beat,
1, 2, and 3.
guard on the center line, that run back stone would have stayed in the top of the 12-foot as well. And he could have left some congestion on that center line area. Now, if you're Totzek, are you thinking blank?
It's right in the middle.
Yeah, try to.
If you can force the blank here, you're tied up playing 7 without. That's not a bad position to be in.
That wouldn't be a bad plan right now. You can have to find a way to get Carruthers forced in the next end.
Well, you take 1 point either way, actually, in the 7th. You don't care whether it's a steal or a force.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go to hold the line on this.
They got her.
The way that started to curl, I thought they were in danger. If you roll behind the corner from back there, they'd have been behind the corner and well behind the T-line. Reid Carruthers freezes to it and tries to get his deuce.
You see the options there. Does he want to roll open or roll under?
Yeah, I don't like the roll open. Then you're playing for the blank. I don't even mind one more nose hit, because if the two teams trade nose hits 2 more times, then when he rolls behind the corner, he's in front of the T-line.
Well, you got your wish there, Shawn.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I mean, it's very risky for Totzek to roll behind the corner, even if he's in front of the tee. Carruthers' corner freezes to it, and he's a risk-free opportunity to try to score his 2. Totzek needs to get the play away from that corner guard now. He's going to make the hit, but he's going to stay right there. And now I think for sure you'll see Carruthers trying to roll behind the corner. Calvin Schneider with the quiet weight hit needs to come across the face of that Yellowstone. He's going to be close. He's got the hit now. How far will it roll? Get a good piecing behind, maybe 2/3. It's a little more than half anyway.
Yeah, Totzek's going to have to throw the run here. Going to want to stick it. If you still have any, or I don't know, maybe you want to roll out for the blank. I'm in between there now.
Yeah, you're okay if you're over the top and roll out, because then you probably lose the guard. If you're on the nose, Carruthers is still going to have a chance to come around it. Makes it the over the top way. Sugar looks like it maybe just hung on. Nope, Reid says it's out. And the guard didn't actually roll all the way out of play. I thought it would if you hit it over the top. So still one for Reid to come around here.
Yeah, the front end just kind of ignored it. Didn't even try to pull it over. Magnus Sitter's jersey.
Yes. Every time we mention his name, I go back to the chat to see if anybody's told us who it is yet, and I don't see anything.
Yeah. My friend in Germany has not gotten back to me. I don't think he was able to get it on the stream.
And if it's a local sub, I would think somebody viewing perhaps from Beaumont might be able to tell us who it was, but I haven't seen anything yet. Not sure what happened to this one, but they gave up on it early. I don't like that call. Well, here's the thing. I mean, you come around, Reid's coming around, he's going to try to get two. I think you'd much rather have a blank here than give him a shot for two. So you play this one out in the open, let him hit it.
Yeah. Every time you take an opportunity for yourself, you always have to wonder what opportunity you're giving back to your opponent.
Well, and go back to what you were looking for as a goal this end. I mean, a blank is actually probably better than a force here, or at least arguably it's the same. But giving up two would be bad. You make the draw, you know Reid is going to draw.
Just a hair more ice now.
Yeah, you can't afford to overcurl the red guard. Like you overbury this, and it just makes Reid's shot a little bit easier, gives him more room to work with. He has had outstanding draw weight. Rushes are close. Looks like they're waiting for line. Maybe hoping this one slows down too. This might be a little deep.
He went and black catted him. Just had to mention how good his weight was.
Well, there's still nowhere he could have put that I was going to love the call. You look at where the line ended up. If he's on the tee line, even it's a rock that Reid Carruthers could freeze to. And a little bit of difference again, and we talked about it before, and how the two teams approach it. With last rock here, Reid doesn't mind if he overburies this a little bit. He just wants to make sure that Fuessen can't play a hit on it. If he leaves him a corner freeze draw, and he makes it perfect, well, he's still going to have a chance for his 1, but you need to bury this well to make sure you get a chance for 2. Force Totzek into the toughest shot you can. It's got a nice line coming by the guards, but they haven't touched either. This might be just a little bit behind the tee line. And it'll stop right on the tee. Dead behind cover. The amount of curler is here, he could make a play to tap it through. It's risky, so is the freeze.
Looks like he might be trying to tap it with that broom.
Can't be throwing a lot of weight at it though. Maybe that back line just through.
Yeah, just through weight. Still see lots of smiles out there by the front end there, so it's nice to see, especially now since we're on game 7 of potentially 9.
They're probably looking at as hopefully 9.
Oh, well, that's of course.
Potentially sounds more tiring, but if you're playing the 9th game, you're in the final, and they'll be happy with that.
Oh, absolutely. Big shot here. You have to make it. If you don't make this, you're in a world of hurt.
Might have got that going a hair.
Right out of his hand. Just got to get past that top guy.
Now, once they're by the top one, switch the brush to the other side. He's going to make contact. Will he push it far enough?
Yes, he does. That's a nice shot there. Good work.
Reid will be looking for the blank. He's just going to have to decide how he wants to hit this. There's a catcher. If you played the thin on the out turn side, you could get stuck with a single. As long as you hit it thick enough, you should be over the top of that. Reid Carruthers had last rock by virtue of being the A event qualifier when we started this game. We're tied up here playing the 6th. He's still got last rock. Looking for the blank and hoping to keep that last rock into the 7th. Makes the hit, had to be thick to make sure he got across the top of the yellow. Does get out of play. We've got a blank end after 6, and these two teams still tied, now 3 apiece. Carruthers will have last rock in the 7th.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Shawn, Joyce, Dave Schmel, glad you've joined us here for this quarterfinal action. Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major on Curling Stadium Beaumont. I'll be with you all day for all of the action here. Invited on the Curling Zone YouTube channel as well as the Alberta Curling Series YouTube channel. Those of you watching now already know how to find us. Make sure you tell all your friends. And certainly we hope you're treated to a couple more draws like this throughout the rest of the day. This has been a very entertaining game.
Absolutely, Shawn. It's been very tight between the two teams. Both teams have had their chances, but nothing really big has materialized yet.
You can't even afford to say just 2 ends left to play because it's entirely possible there could be 3. One common theme to this game, and really to the whole event, the center guard just a little bit off the center line.
Just a touch.
Come around attempt from the Carruthers team came behind the tee. And Totzek here looking for the second center guard, and this comes down to he cannot afford to have a blank here. He'd like to get either a steal or a force of one. For Reid Carruthers, a blank would be great, but one of the things that I've said to teams that I've coached and such in the past, when you get into this situation where the other team is trying so hard to force a single point, if they want to force you to 3, let them. And that does happen.
Sometimes you can get have so much tunnel vision as to what you're trying to do, what your end goal is before you're done. The end has just gotten late.
Well, it can happen. Here he's had to throw the second center guard because he cannot afford a blank end. 2 good draws. Now there's some pressure on it.
He's going to take an offensive page here and try to come around.
And he kind of has to. It's back to he can't play the double runs. 2 ends ago he would have played something on the guards, but you get back into a blank end situation like that. Well, the stats show if you blank this in, you lose most of the time. With the no-tick zone and the free guard zone, it's as close to 50-50 as it has ever been, but tied up without, you're still going to lose more often than not.
And with that Carruthers stone being just behind the tee line, it does provide the ideal target to freeze too.
You're right. And as much as it doesn't look like you can see very much of it, those rocks curl so hard coming into the rings, he could probably get pretty close to right to the face of that.
You get there all day.
Coming around a stone at the top of the 4-foot, you could bury a one on the back of this before.
Miles and miles of ice here just to see how much this curls.
They're going to have to go to get by that stone at the top of the 4. I don't think it's getting by. It might not have the weight to get there either. The corner freeze it wouldn't be bad. They're going to have to go for that too. Get just full 12 foot.
It's really not the worst leave, but now might as well just get out the recording.
Yeah, it's 5 rocks on the center line, and this is not where Reid Carruthers wants to play this end.
Samolgalski on the run back. seems to be what the team prefers. I really don't know what else. I don't think you'd ever want to draw another one in.
If you were drawing in, I think you draw full 8 foot on the open side. But Totzek is probably going to ignore that stone. He's probably all in now at this point in time.
Might be able to make a case to throw the shot that Totzek wanted to throw. Get there first. That side tells me you don't agree.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the draw. I'm looking at what Catlin was looking at. I thought he was, when he came down, he tapped on the guard tighter to the rings, and I think he was thinking they could just peel a tight one. I'm not sure if that's what he was talking about or not. I mean, you could see a sliver of it, but that's risky. You go by everything, that's no good at all. If that was what he's looking at, I understand what he's looking at. Like that top guard by itself isn't guarding anything on this ice.
And we're just going to run the whole pile.
Yeah. Well, even if he just takes the 2 guards for now, he'd be happy with leaving that yellow at the top of the 12. But it's just too many rocks on the center line for Carruthers right now. So not where he wants to play this end.
So this is going to come with parking lot G weight.
A little bit back on the release. Straight peeled top guard.
Another chance to try to make that draw down and then freeze.
He doesn't have to play it. He could replace the guard and just let Carruthers make a few passes at running it. You make the freeze now. The problem with that is that all 5 rocks are fairly close together. There's only about 8 feet of difference from the one at the top of the guard and the stone at the back of the 4-foot. And it just makes it a little bit easier for Derek Samigowski to try to get 3 or 4 moving. Don't have to give him the chance to do that this early. Are close. It's got nice weight. It's a question of the line. It's starting to move now.
Significantly better than the last one. Oh no, look at that. Bad.
It's not bad as long as he doesn't make all 5 of them go.
Well, sure. Absolutely. I mean, there comes a point, at some point, you know, the other guy's always going to have a shot.
Yeah, well, but you could have given him fewer chances. The reason you'd look at playing the longer guard there is you assume that Reid's going to peel it off. And if he doesn't, you know, great. He's playing rocks in the rings. That's what you want to work. What you want. But you give them fewer chances to make this. Right now, we're only on Seconds' final stone. They've got really 4 attempts left to make a lot of rocks go away and get back to a blank situation. And at this level, that might be too many tries.
There's a second bite at the apple. That gets a lot more moving.
And Derek only needed 1 try to get this situation. Is now everything is in Reid Carruthers' favor now. Sitting shot rock. There's no guards left. Too many tries.
In our other games, we have Van Amsterdam 2-1 lead. Second bite at the apple. Count off 3-2 over Maida. That gets a lot more moving. 5.
And Derek only needed 1 try to get this. There were 5 stones in play when Derek Samigowski got into the hacks. He moved all 5 of them. 3 of them stay in the rings. Play a freeze onto 3rd stone at the back of the 12-foot. I'm not sure I love this call either. He's going to end up with the guard. That's probably better than what he called. He freeze to that stone at the back, I don't know how you're doing much more than holding him to 2. Throw the guard. He probably has to peel it. You can probably do that at least one more time. Eventually you can make a play on shot stone, and he's got to play a double with his last one against the risk of stealing.
Yep, so of course he's already played that all out in his head here, so he's...
Yeah, both teams have. So, you know, when you know that's what the timing, that's what you're looking at. Somebody can always throw a little monkey wrench into the plans by doing one shot they weren't expected to, but I don't think you'd see that here. This is too early. We'll peel the guard. I don't know what you're thinking, Dave. I'm thinking the guard again. He's still thinking freeze the back one. I'm not sure what you get back there.
No, I do like throwing the guard here. At least one more time.
At least one more, yeah. To come to the back 4 foot, stay in front of that red back of the house. He's going to have to curl to get the line for that.
Just hanging out there.
We'll get a piece in front of that red stone. It is second shot.
Reid looking to just take it out and come behind his own. I don't mind that one a little bit.
And I think part of the reason for that roll that he's looking for is he's hoping to clear the back one. If you keep 3 in the rings, it puts a lot of pressure on Totzek. He'd like to get a force. He'd take a steal. He's probably, you know, okay with 2, but if there's any risk of giving up 3, that changes this end dramatically for Sixten Totzek. He might have to try some kind of double. Let's go a little more to make sure he hangs on. This is close. Does roll kind of in behind the yellow, but he does sit 3rd and 4th. And yellow's starting to look lonely.
So it definitely needs a friend. It's
that's a new phrasing for me. I like that.
So if we can give it a friend, I mean.
Well, it's not just a question of getting another yellow one in there. It's if he's going to make a play on shot rock, you have to be careful where you roll it. It's hard not to leave a double on the yellows.
It can be very difficult to hit that and roll across to the open side, because that's going to jam all day.
Yeah, you can't. I guess as I'm looking at it, if you could just walk it down and put it exactly where you wanted to, maybe hit the red, roll just a couple of inches so that you leave yellow angled onto the red right behind the yellow. That's very precise. He's looking at, I think, the double on the red at the back of the 12 foot. Probably losing your shooter if you make that. That might be okay. The yellow's in front of the other red.
let's see what Magnus Suter's jersey has to say.
Well, looks like Magnus Suter's jersey was just signaling how much distance, and that might have been the Brushers wanted to know how much room they had between those two rocks at the back.
Yep.
Not throwing a lot of weight with that amount of broom. I would guess he's trying to make the double on the Reds and hold his shooter on the corner somewhere.
Definitely a high touch shot, as I like to say. It's gonna be something that has to be controlled by the Brushers, and the line call's going to be good. It's going to be a very quiet wait, most likely.
Actually, as I'm looking at this way, you could get a little fortunate here if you run the red onto the red at the back 12, hit that second one a little thick, but roll it back to the side. He'd end up with a pocket behind his yellow. Boy, they're going to have to go for line here, though.
Suter's jersey is sweeping hard.
I think he's going to put it by. Now that's the lineup I was looking at for the hit if you could make it, is just pass it by, and now the two yellows are still lined up to the red at the back. Reid can try the double, but he's probably losing at least one of his own. That first one, when it comes back, might be tough to get it to clear the red, splitting the center line as well.
Definitely a pretty good shot there. Totzek.
Probably the best he could have done with that, really. Don't think Reid's going to be throwing this one quite so quiet. He'd like to make a couple of yellows go away, and he knows he's going to have to make contact with at least one red to do that. Needs to get at least to the nose. This is just a little bit on the outside still. Catches the second one. It will jam on one of the reds at the back. Schneider brushing it across, but it does stay in the 12-foot, so Carruthers shot. Second belongs to Totzek. Key here is he's going to have to make a play at the double, I think. And then Reid Carruthers might have a choice to make. There are teams that I have seen that would give up one to keep last rock into the last end. So if Carruthers is comfortable with that, he can play the slash double. If he gets the blank, great. If he gives up one, he's got last rock coming home. Not saying for sure he's thinking that way. There are some teams that would. First things first. Totzek needs to make the double. Reid Carruthers just had an attempt in this place. Almost didn't curl up enough. Back and forth on the brush here. Now this might have overcurled. Does he jam it?
Yes, he does. No question as to what you do here. You're going to take your two. I know that's a bold strategy, Shawn.
Yeah. Yeah, all the discussion here. You saw Reid take one quick look just to make sure that he had second shot at the back, and now it'll just be the discussion is how much weight do we want to throw at this. It's not even a particularly new spot to them. We've seen a lot of rocks down this path, so they'll have an idea how the hit weight's going to run here. Nose hit will do it. He's got a little bit of room to roll to the broom side. He's got to be careful if he crosses it. You can see the same thing. He can jam it on the red at the back. Pavelski just cleaning. Reid Carruthers with his final stone here in the 7th end. Will come down, make the nose hit. Picks up his deuce. He's got the 5-3 lead now after 7 ends of play. Sixten Totzek will have last rock coming home.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Shawn, Joyce, Dave Schmel with you here. 7 ends complete in this quarterfinal. At least one left to go. Hadn't been a deuce scored since the 3rd end. Carruthers picks up a big 2 here in the 7th to take the 5-3 lead. First stone of this 8th end brought into the top of the button. They've had a little bit easier time, sorry Dave, a little bit easier time throwing the corner guards. Did it too quick. I was wondering if we might see it's a shot that you see a lot from the doubles play now, and you'll see teams play it to try to push that corner guard into the rings, but he's going to call for a second one into the top 4.
Yeah, you see that we're in that situation. That deuce was really generated by Totzek, letting the house get a little bit too involved. Probably should have done better to throw a few more guards in that last 10.
Yeah, I would have liked to see one more guard higher. It's you know, he had everything in the center line, and that's great for him, but when they brought that last one in, you know, there was 5 rocks in a line, and there was only 8 feet, maybe 9 feet between them, and they're just too close together. Too many chances, and Derek Samagalski only needed 1.
So we're going to put up the second corner guard here on the other side.
This is always interesting to me too. It's the last couple of years you've seen teams when they're throwing the second corner guard, they will in a lot of cases throw them both on the same side. One long, one short, the same as you would usually do in the center. Part of the reason for that is so they don't take away both draw paths to the button. In this case, they've played the corners fairly tight, so he should still have room to draw to the button on both sides.
I do like playing both my corner guards on one side myself.
Well, you know, when you get ice that curls this big, it's important to consider that. If you throw it, those 2 corner guards are tight enough to the house that I think you can get to the button still from either side. But if you bring those up about 4 or 5 more feet, now they're kind of in the way to draw the button. And yes, that draw the button's not there yet, but you're kind of hoping to deal with the rocks in the middle, get something around the corner, and then you want to draw to the button with your last one. Well, you hate to not have a path to get there.
And the added advantage of having both of them on one side is that if you can get a hit and roll to come on underneath, then you have 2 rocks that your opponent has to try to deal with.
It does make the run backs a little trickier. Carruthers not able to do anything with the corner guards yet. He's piled everything into the middle, and this is, you see this a lot too. We're going to put 3 rocks right on the center line. We know you've got to deal with them at some point in time.
and you want to be patient enough to build that end for yourself, but you still have to have that eject button.
Yeah. He's going to play the straight draw around the corner. I thought he might have played the split on the center guard. This is the 6th stone. He can move that guard now. You don't have to play it as a hit. Just needs to bury this. Doesn't matter if it's deep. It's actually going to come out into the open a little bit, but I don't think it came into the open quite a bit. It's still risky for Reid Carruthers to try to come at it from the outside. You clip the guard, it's going into the reds. And you can see a lot of that rock.
I asked Derek exactly how comfortable he feels with this, and his answer is, I haven't met a hit I don't like.
He's going to have to come up to make contact here.
Ooh.
Just rubbed it a little further in behind.
Now with that little offensive gift, you see Sixten's considering coming right into the pile. Alternatively, he can possibly come underneath the other corner and get another thing in the business there. What do you think, Shawn?
I think this is your chance to deal with the middle, or start to deal with the middle. I'm not sure this is the way I would do it. I still like the idea of moving that center guard. Again, you don't have to throw it as a take-in. You'd probably throw it from the out turn now, try to push it to the back of the house behind the other corner, roll your shooter into the rings. A lot of rocks to come, though. You can make this shot and still have a chance to deal with the reds. I mean, there's actually right now a way you could triple the reds. So, and I think going to be overhead on a different screen. I think you can get it to clear that yellow at the back 12 foot. Might depend how you hit it. This was not, if you're looking at the alphabet of plan A, B, C, this is a long ways down the alphabet. He's thrown another center guard, not on purpose.
I definitely like the idea of getting rid of one of these guards here.
Oh yeah. Hard to do it without rolling towards the middle, so you may as well try to keep the shooter in there for looking at actually drawing the gun.
The angles aren't quite as favorable to remove all three of those reds as they were a moment ago.
Yeah, we should got to come. There's now 4 rocks involved. He's still going to have to play it.
So if you ever put one right there at the top, say maybe the top of the 8 foot or top of the 12 foot, you cut off that run before it could ever get to the 4 foot, and it's going to make Totzek had to spend another rock to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he only has 4 left to come, so not a lot of stones left to invest here.
I think what this comes down to, as long as you're playing an offensive shot here, you've got Totzek in a situation where he's got to clean things up a little bit. He can't make an offensive shot. You wouldn't think, anyway.
This shot leads me to believe that eventually we're going to see those corner guards get run in, and that's always tricky.
Alan Schneider has struggled a little bit with his draw weight. This is a little deep. Comes right by everything through the court. And he'll hang on, maybe just in play. Not helping him back there, though.
So they're going back to the same call which they had for the previous stone.
Gotta run the guard here. Yellow on the red. Even if you make the freeze, how are you scoring two? Those two reds have to move at some point in time.
I think you're running the corner guard on later, which is
stick it from that corner.
It's suboptimal at best, that's for sure.
If we look at the overhead, the corner guard in front of the Hack2House logo, you're not getting anything by running that in. It's just going to jam the red. So to run the one in from the other side, pretty hard to make the double on the reds and stick it. I think it spins out. You need to give yourself a good angle on this so that that run in comes into the yellow that you're about to throw.
Definitely a multi-step shot to be able to develop it. It's going to require a perfect one here. And then don't forget, Carruthers gets to throw.
Carruthers still gets to throw, yeah.
There's always a rub. This one looks to be just a touch light.
That's another center guard.
I don't think he wants to do that.
No, now I'm not sure that he's got the double run into the reds. First one needs to come just over the top of the red stone to come in, and I don't think he can get it there where that stone is. Another chance now for Caitlin Schneider. See if he can make the adjustment on the weight. He's got a nice one coming in here. Does bring it into that top of the 8-foot. Carruthers sits 3. That makes it really hard to bring that one at the back 12-foot back into play.
So, short of using a tactical nuclear weapon, what's the best plan here?
Yeah, turn out the lights and move the rocks around. He's got this. He's really looking at the same type of things. He's still got that freeze onto shot stone, and then he'd have a desperation angle run-in with his last one just for the tie. I still don't mind moving some guards, but it's trickier now. He could maybe play the yellow guard on the one that's by itself, just touching the center line. Play it into the red. Try to spin the yellow into the rings. You're only going to lose 2 guards. Get your shooter off the line. But you get another biter that way. And now the one yellow guard that would be left out there by itself on the center would be available for run back. That's part of the problem right now is they don't really have... The only run back they've got that would help them is the angle in on the one on the right-hand side. And it's hard to stick it. Called their timeout.
I think that ultimately they're going to come down and end up being back around the shot stone again, just to try to put something in the neighborhood and see if they can't make it work later.
I think the coach is seeing what I was seeing. Seems to be what they're looking at now. So you play the yellow-red. You're going to kill the red guard, try to spill one more yellow into the rings and at least get rid of all that overlap at the top, because his best rock to run back, the best results, if he can run the one that's straight back, well, he doesn't have angle on it now. All those angles, everything at the top is overlapped right now.
Yep. Josh to Suter with his final in the eighth.
Still needs to hit that yellow fairly thick. This is close. Yellow onto red. Does spill the yellow into the rings. The red clears.
It's a pretty good outcome.
Yeah, I might have liked to roll the shooter a little bit farther, but at least nothing's overlapped now. Getting a little trickier for others to try and get in, though. You know that after he played that, Totzek is looking at the straighter back run. He can probably get all three of the reds with the straight back run. So how do you take that away?
He could throw a guard and overlap it.
Could. Might like to try to get underneath it. If you're over top of the red, he's just going to run it over the top. Try to get it going back that way. Tough to get underneath it. That's the problem. That's why I like that shot for Totzek. It has changed the situation for Carruthers, and he's now thinking we better get one in that's going to outcount these two yellows that we can't do anything about. So looking to draw towards the stone at the back 12. Has to be a little careful with this one too. It's real easy if you make it through that court to overcurl. If you're right on the tee line, you could still be sixth shot. You could overcurl far enough that yellows are still fourth and fifth, and while that sounds like a lot, there is a triple available on the reds. A run back triple. Looking to come down, sit on the corner of that stone at the back 12 foot. Needs to stay on the inside corner. Got enough weight, I think, to tap it through. He's got to stay on the inside enough to be fourth shot, and I think he did.
It does look like it has just a little piece of the 8 foot.
Yeah. Left the stone biting at the back of the 12, though. And if he does get close to making this run triple, one of those red stones, he's going to have to come back towards that corner. Could make contact. Either one of those stones. It's hard to tell how they're going to come off just yet. Has to make, I think, has to make three of these fly here. If you just get the double, I'm not seeing what he would have left to score two. Because Carruthers is still fourth shot over on the corner. Sixten Totzek with the run back attempt on his first stone here in the eighth end. Trailing by two, needs the two to tie, three to win. There's room in the rings with a lot of yellow stones in play yet. Gets one, gets two, does catch the stone at the back of the 12 foot, and he gets three of them out, and it is going to be interesting. Totzek still has three of the rings, a run back attempt on his first stone here in the eighth end. Trailing by two, needs the two to tie, three to win. There's room in the rings with a lot of yellow stones.
He come down there, make contact, and just
gets one,
open
gets
up
two,
and
does
peel
catch
it.
the stone
Just
at the back
clears
of the
that
12
one
foot.
in the bag.
Gets 3 of them. Yeah, but I did mention it was going to come back in that direction, and it did actually make contact with the stone that Reid Carruthers had just thrown. So Reid's first thought was, can he make the flat double on the yellows? And he can only see just over half of that first one. It might be enough. It's awfully close. You see Catlin lining up. It's one of those ones where if you're going to make the double, you might actually make the triple. The problem is if you don't get 2 yellows out here, you're going to leave your shooter in a spot where Totzek's going to have something that he could run back. It'll be a run double, and it still has to be made, but it would be for the win. You don't mind him playing a shot like that for the tie.
Oh, absolutely not.
But you kind of hate, you always hate making the opposition play a shot for the win, because sometimes they make it.
And all of our other games that went final, it was Bonneau over Ben Amsterdam, Kaltoff over Maida, and Morizumi over Hood. So our semifinals are going to be set after this. Absolutely have to get these 2 out.
Well, he has to get 2 out. It doesn't matter which 2. Even if you just clip the one at the back of the 12 foot on the way by, but that ice doesn't look like he's throwing huge weight. I think he's just playing the hit and roll. And so if they're looking at a double, it's probably the one at the back. If he was going to play the flat double, he'd have to throw some weight. So looking to make contact with the one that's half in the open, drive it towards the nibbler at the back 12, get the double there, have his shooter roll in behind cover, and Totzek would then have to play a run double for the tie. He's got the hit. Does it catch the stone at the back? It does.
Oh. Fabulous shot there by the skipper.
Just the way they planned it out.
Totzek is going to have to
get the double there, have his shooter roll in behind cover. One more look at Reid's, and Totzek would then have to play a run double. We're a little worried right there that it wasn't going to curl far enough. He's got the hit. Does it catch the stone at the back? It does. Oh. Catches a chunk of that back stone. Still, this is very makeable for a chance to go to the extra end. Made a run triple on his first attempt. If he can make the run double with his last, we'll go to an extra end. If he can't, Reid Carruthers will move through to the semifinal. Totzek, final stone on the way. Inside brusher down right away. Got to hold the line. Over curled a little bit, catches the guard, and gets it the hard way. Rubs the high guard, straightens it out enough to actually make the shot.
Oh boy, excuse me and thank you.
I want another replay. Over curled the first one, would have driven it by, but it catches the edge of the second guard, straightens it out enough. Here it is on the way. Inside brusher down right away. Right out of his hand. He might have been just a little bit inside. Got to hold the line. Sliver on the inside. He gets well past the nose. A little bit. Catches the guard and drives it to touch. Gets it the hard way. Guard rubs the high, and that's just like a lead. Signals. Nice shot, skipper. We're going to be headed to an extra end.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Bonus action here in the quarterfinals. Shawn, Joyce, Dave Schmel with you, and it's an extra end to determine the last of the semifinalists. We're wearing out the replay machine too.
This is great. We paid for 8 ends of curling. We're going to get 9.
The last 3 shots of that 8th end all justified replays.
Well, I'm pretty sure we don't have to put a quarter in every time we use it, so.
Comes down to the redstone, pushes it just behind the tee line, but the shooter stays out in the open.
That's an interesting call to me because you have to steal here. I would have been throwing another guard there all day.
I thought they were. But I will admit I didn't see the call. Just assumed they would be throwing a guard in that situation. Connor Negavan would like to get the hit and wanted to stay in front of his own, but it's going to roll a little bit past that. Now he's left a bit of a pocket.
They had to work really hard there to avoid violating the no ticket rule. Just got to pass that center guard.
Well, big shot here early in this extra end for Jean-Luc Hag. If he can get this frozen into the pocket, this is the kind of stone you might be able to steal with, and you could guard this for the rest of the end if you had to.
Yeah, Totzek's going to try to have Jan lay this one in there, right in that Wilson of that catcher's mitt that's back there, and then just protect it like it's the Alamo.
Two references that the German team might not understand at all.
Well, with the passing of James Earl Jones this week, some baseball references a la Field of Dreams seem warranted.
Derek Samigalski going to try to make a couple of rocks go away here. This is the 6th, so he can make a play on the guard.
So you're telling me Derek's going to throw a hit? Get right out, Tim.
He's going to throw a run back.
Oh my goodness.
Curl just a little bit. Even that's better than what it was because he gets rid of the backing behind that yellow stone.
It does release it, so I think I'd be inclined to throw to that pocket again, maybe. Could throw a high guard.
Yeah, you could. You throw the high guard. If you're going to throw the high guard, what are you guarding?
your chance to get there later.
Well, no, I'm asking, like, are you guarding the yellow or are you guarding the red guard? I think you're guarding the red guard. If you guard the yellow stone in the rings, he runs it over the top of the red and tries to bring it back into the pile, and your end's gone.
Absolutely. The chances of that yellow being a scoring right now are pretty low, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to guard that for the red. Sit there. If you guard the red guard, tempt him, you know, say, well, shot rock's still open, maybe you better play it. Now you've got 2 guards to work with. Doesn't really matter who's shot right now. It only matters after 10 more rocks come down.
That's that old scenario. If you're Totzek, it doesn't matter if you lose by 1 or 6 right now. You're going all in.
He opted to guard the shot rock. It certainly looks like the way they're sweeping that, they want that to stop. Just think after Derek makes contact with both guards, they're going to realize that maybe wasn't the place to put that.
So a nice, quiet 7.5 second shot coming from Derek.
Harder than 7.5. 1, 2, gets the third one, and that's why you didn't want to stagger those cards.
So a nice, quiet 7.5 second shot coming from Derek.
Harder than 7.5. Here's one more. Derek has generated a few of these today. 1, 2. So good as the third one. So many of the seconds are, but Derek's so good at these runbacks.
So now you're going to see them throw the guard here.
But now it's a little tougher because it's hard to put a guard in a spot now where there's nothing to jam on. You'll have to throw guards here for this one, probably one more. Skips first, you might have to make a decision if you're going to make a play on the rings. It doesn't look like you're going to have anything buried now, so if you're trying to steal now, you're trying to make Reid throw his last one against 2, and you're hoping for a half shot. Simply looking to straight peel the guard now. Third's last stone. I would think you'd probably throw one more guard. He's looking at making the play into the rings now.
I think you're just inviting a cleanup operation if you do that.
Yeah, Reid won't care how many rocks fly. He's just going to throw something, have Captain throw something hard, make some rocks go away. I think you're throwing a guard here, and then you might entertain the freeze on your first one. Hope he jams it. Even if he cleans it up, he's not going to get the one on the corner. You can make him look at 2. If you play it too early, you can have a chance to play the cleanup shot and then still have a chance for a double.
So it sounds like your mental abilities have worked and the guard is forthcoming.
Reid Carruthers knows what's coming, but there's not much they can do about it. They've got to straight peel the guard, force the other team to make it's still going to be a good shot required to make a good freeze.
Peel that just like a banana.
So I'm thinking your choices here, you try to freeze the red, which is tough. The one that they didn't talk about, I'm a little surprised they didn't at least discuss it. You could hit the red from the center line side, just kill one, just jam it, roll over it a foot or two just to make sure there's no double on the yellows. Reid hits one of the yellows, you play the double, and he's facing two.
I don't mind that.
This is tough. Like he's got to stay just a little bit on the broom side of the red so that he doesn't leave a double on the yellows. If you come to the center line side, Reid blasts and he can play it from the side where he might get the second yellow as well. It does give you your best chance. I mean, if he makes a good freeze here, there's always the chance Reid jams something and you could guard it, and at least you'd have a rock maybe nibbling the forefoot, a better chance to steal. It does seem that Totzek favors the draw. He's very good at them. Looking to chip it enough to leave a pocket if he could. That's a pretty good result.
Because as you see it there, it's lined up on the guard, and it'd be tough to remove both of them without jamming on something here.
He won't mind. He'll play it from the center line side, try to pick it, but I don't even think he wants to pick it clean. I think he'd like to lose one of those two reds, the one right behind it, because if you don't lose it, if you pick it clean, Totzek tries to corner freeze that stone and you can't get it out because it doesn't go over the stone at the back of the forefoot.
Right, if you lose that one behind now, that's going to give you the full forefoot, and Totzek's going to have to freeze to the other one, and it's probably a little bit of an easier shot for Reid in the end.
They're talking about trying to hold the shooter.
Don't know what the value is.
Well, I mean, if you're right on the center line, you take away his path to the back when you're in front of the tee line, you might force him to play the double at least, but actually, I think if I'm trying to hold the shooter, I'm trying to roll right to the other side of the forefoot. If you're on the edge of the forefoot, it might be a rock you could come off of if you had to. With that broom, I don't think he's worried about holding the shooter anymore. He's going to throw some weight at this.
You see Trevor Bonneau and his team awaiting their opportunity.
So make the yellow go away. He'd love to pick that red from behind it. Boy, they're sweeping that like they want to pick it clean. Didn't. He just moves the red. And if there's no corner freeze jam possibility. Okay, what do you like? You freeze to that?
Yeah, I think
you hit it.
I think you get good point, but
well, it's what do you want Reid to play? Like if you freeze to it, you make it perfect. He probably has to draw. But it's very tough to make it perfect. If you only freeze on half a rock, it's a nose hit for the win. So.
Oh, sure, and it's been tough to control it, especially with that swing. So you're right. If you do hit and roll open and have him face two, and you are forcing Reid to hit and stick,
make a choice. Yeah, he's hit and stick or he's drawing. Like that's the shot. If you're playing the roll, you hit and roll just as they indicated. You rolled a full 8 foot, and for him to make a play on shot rock, he's not going to have a lot of room to roll. So you could put two shots into his mind that way. You could put the shot to, do you hit that or do you play for the draw? Well, you already used a baseball reference and an Alamo reference that I guess the German team would understand. So I'm going to go to a football reference. Is part of this conversation just to freeze the kicker?
See, now you're talking the wrong football.
Well, the wrong football for the German team, yeah.
Yeah.
given what we've seen of Totzek and how comfortable he is with the draws, I would have expected that he's going to play the freeze, and that seems to be what they've settled on.
Ultimately, you need to go with the shot that you feel the most comfortable making. And it's a bonus if it helps you win.
Yeah. I guess probably part of the conversation is, do we want to come right down to it? He could try to split center line dead in front of it. And if Reid tries to pick it out, there's a chance that he doubles out his own, and it would be a steal that way. That stone at the edge of the 8-foot would be a factor. Still got to be dead lined up. Sixten Totzek, his final stone here at the extra end, without last rock, trying to freeze to shot at the back of the 4-foot. Rusher's just waiting on the line. Line looks good. Might be a little strong. Gonna bump it a little bit. By doing that, he's left it. There's room for Reid Carruthers to try to pick it out, and if he ever curled up and hit it right on the nose, well, the shooter stays there for the point. That just needed to curl a hair more, or not tap it. Like, even that line, if he doesn't tap it, might have been okay.
It wouldn't have been bad, yeah. But now you have a relatively straightforward hit here on the out turn. Yeah. Throw whatever weight you feel comfortable with. They've seen this line a whole bunch already.
As long as he doesn't over curl it, he's okay. Like, he could hit on the nose, he's fine. His shooter will count then. Hits it anywhere on the broom side, it'll pass by the back one. Probably the only mistake that could be made here is if he's thinking those two things and overthrows this, but on this ice, it's hard to miss anything broom side. Final stone of the extra end for Reid Carruthers. Just needs to make Yellowstone at the back of the 4-foot. Well, he's tight for sure. Both brushers down right away. He's going to cross this. If he makes contact at all, it's jamming on the red.
Ooh. My oh my.
Just inside out of his hand, and Reid Carruthers will jam it. It actually ends up as a steal of 2. Sixten Totzek dodges the bullet here in the extra end. He will move on to the semifinals. What a barn burner of a game, and that might be the biggest mistake we saw either team make in the whole game. Unfortunate way to end it for Reid Carruthers, but a very entertaining game for us.
Absolutely, Shawn. I mean, you looked at that, and I really felt like the 7th end was going to be the deciding factor there. And then at the 8th end, with those 2 big shots in a row by Totzek, the triple, then the rather fortunate one with his last to squeeze out the 2, and then just the unforced error here by Reid Carruthers.
Yeah, and I was saying as he was getting the throw, the only way I could see him missing that was to miss it wide, and you worried that a guy would overthrow it. Well, then he got way inside. So we know who our 4 semifinalists are. Looking at the clock now, the semifinals were scheduled to start in about 10 minutes. The ice prep will have to be done, and then we practice. So it'll be a little late getting started, but we'll have all the action for you here on the Curling Stadium Beaumont. I want to thank you for joining us here for the quarterfinal action. Shawn, Joyce, Dave, Schmel, happy to bring it to you. Be back with us this afternoon for the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Men's Major semifinals to start shortly.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.